we couldn't not play a game of Name That Vinny, okay? Because it's not every day you get a Vinny on your show. I'm going to give you some hints, and you got to name which Vinny this is. This first Vinny led his team of cheeseheads to victories in both Super Bowls 1 and 2.
Oh, Vince Lombardi.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. 1 for 1, baby. All right, let's keep going.
All right,
let's keep going. This one is a bit tough. Okay, final one. This next Vinny won his first court case while defending 2 Ukes in Alabama from a murder they didn't commit.
2 Utes. Not my cousin Vinny. Yeah.
Yes.
My cousin Vinny. Right.
Yes, yeah. My cousin Vinny. Yeah. Joe Pesci, baby. Hey everyone, this is Call It a Night, the sports show that loves Advil O'Clock. I'm your host, Julie Stewart-Binks, and Super Bowl week is sadly over. We're no longer in Miami. Secret, I'm actually back in New York at this point. But we had so many incredible conversations with celebrities and Hall of Famers and football players, media personalities that extended so much further than beyond just the game of the Super Bowl that we wanted to make sure to bring all that insight and fun to all of you. We are here on Radio Row, and that means we get to talk to the biggest stars, the best names in football and beyond. And now we are so thrilled to be joined by former Super Bowl champion. I guess you're still a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, I think once
forever.
you win one, you are.
You
Yeah.
can't get it taken away. Yeah. We got Marshall Faulk here today. And what's it like? You know, you watch the Super Bowl now when you're not in the game. Do you get the feelings of what it was like being in that game? Are you reminded of winning it?
I do. I think about it's funny. So when I'm watching the game, it's like the national anthem. I remember, and I still kind of my heart beat starts to race a little bit, and I get little sweaty palms because I know what I was thinking and what was going through my head.
What was going through your head?
Oh, that this was my chance to be a champion. I had never won at football ever in my life. I'd won a championship in basketball, baseball. I had won in track, but I never won in football.
You had a pretty good resume there.
I know, but I never won in football,
okay.
So this was my chance.
Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers, you know, he recorded the 1,000 club that you're in, receiving and rushing yards. And you tweeted, you know, welcome to this very exclusive club. I mean, how difficult really is it to achieve that status?
It's so hard. People don't even talk about it because it's that rare.
Yeah.
You'll hear it mentioned when, this guy might be, he's a good dual threat. Roger Craig did it. I did it. And Christian McCaffrey in the history of the game.
Yeah, this is in one season too. I was looking at it.
In the history of the game, rush for 1,000, receive for 1,000. In the history of the game, 3 guys.
So then, looking forward, one player you could see right now that maybe could have potential to join that club.
Alvin Kamara.
Okay, yeah.
He has what it takes.
Now, you are here, obviously answering the hard-hitting questions from me on Call It a Night, but you are promoting.
Yes.
Tell us what you're here talking about.
The Foundation for Drug-Free World. And what we do is we go out and we provide information and education to kids and parents about the effects of drugs. And for all the families out there whom are fighting the fight, we have drugfreeworld.org. You can go and get the information, educate yourself, and help your family, and know that you're not alone.
Speaking of education, we want to play a little game called Faulk U, like Faulk University.
All right.
Right? So what we're going to do
Here we go.
We want you to just put your hand in, and you're going to have a question, and then you just answer it, okay?
All right.
Okay, what's this question?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Tough.
Man, I am going to say a hot dog is a hot dog.
Yeah, that was the right answer. Who says it's a sandwich?
I don't know.
Is a psychopath.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. What else do we got? What other questions are we learning at Faulk U?
Here we go. Let's see. Funniest teammate you've ever had? Oh, man, who was the funniest? Who made me laugh the most? I am going to say when I played for the Rams, it was a guy named Jeff Scanina.
Okay.
he was the biggest prankster there was. And when I played for the Colts, and it's funny that both of these guys are like big defensive linemen. Tony Saragusa.
Oh, I could see that.
Oh, Goose was hilarious. So those were
if
our
we have more
funny
time,
guys.
I'd love to know about those pranks, but I'm sure it's better left
Did I
on
get
set
one
on
more? Is
camera.
that-
One more. Let's do
All right,
it.
here we
Let's
go. How many times a day do you look at yourself in the mirror? You know what? I'm going to say once, and that's in the morning, but I do look at myself on my phone.
Hey,
Does that
that's
count?
true.
Does
That's
that count?
not a mirror,
It's not a
technically.
mirror.
That's the camera.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's fewer times than I do. Thank you so much, Marshall, here for being with us here today. We have got a whole lot more to come on Call It a Night. Don't go anywhere. I'm very excited to be joined now by ESPN broadcaster, host of NFL Countdown, Sam Ponder. It's great to see you here. We know that you're working on Sunday hosting NFL Countdown, but you're also working with Secret for the Super Bowl ad, #KickInEquality. Tell me about working with this company and kind of like what it's meant for the message with your journey too.
Yeah, it just felt like a natural fit for me because basically what they're trying to do is start a conversation around equal opportunities in sports. And for all of us who grew up playing sports, I think I didn't realize not every girl growing up like learned how to throw a spiral when she was 7. You know, like that was just our world. And the older I got and the more I saw, especially in the media world, how few women weren't interested, just didn't have opportunities.
Right.
And I mean, you know this well too. It's just about introducing that first opportunity where it kind of opens your vision up to see what you could do. That's what Secret's doing with their Super Bowl ad. It's going to air right before kickoff.
Okay, cool.
Carly Lloyd is in it. She's amazing. It's a really inspiring ad. You can actually see it already. It's already online, but you'll get to see it right before kickoff in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it gives you chills, especially like when you've had to be in a male-dominated industry and just getting respect. And first of all, we got to acknowledge we got some football players around us here right now, hanging out, which is so great to see. And you've done so much in your career. You know, we knew you so well from Game Day, and now getting to host NFL Countdown, which is, you know, historically been such a male-dominated world. You've also dealt with a lot of sexism and a lot of people being critical, but it seems as though you've handled it really well. Like, what would be, I guess, like, how do you deal with it, and what would be your message of like, how do we change it?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because you gotta pick your spots. Like, you know this. If you wanted to, just because of like the dark corners of the internet, you could be mad all day, every day.
Right.
You know, like you could dwell on that stuff. And look, there was a period of my life where I didn't handle it well, where it did feel overwhelming, and I didn't know how. And honestly, there wasn't much of a roadmap because the women who were in this industry before us didn't have to deal with this.
Right.
Like, they had to deal with it in the office, and it was probably worse, but the magnitude of it now is so different. And if you let that stuff start to seep in, what I realized was, yeah, I think I know who I am, and I have strong opinions about those issues, but if I kept letting it in, meaning just seeing it online,
Right,
it doesn't matter how strong you are, that stuff starts to seep in. And so I just had to get away from it. Like, I don't look at that stuff anymore. When something is confronted in person, which, as you know, it rarely is.
Yeah, it never happens.
Literally never happens. But then you can deal with that. But for the most part, I just try and stay away from that stuff. Like, I just don't have the energy for it anymore. And I like my life.
Yeah.
I like my job. I want to focus on the things that are actually beneficial and moving us forward. Because I do believe, and I'm sure you've seen this too, it's like some of that old stuff, like, it's on its way out.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's going to be a dying breed. It's going to take a few generations, but I don't want to dwell on stuff that's on its way out anyway.
We have a fun little game we want to get to before we let you go, and it's called Ponder This.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it was very creative. Thank you to our producers. You are 2 seconds away from being on air live in front of millions of people, and your producer says you have a piece of spinach in your teeth. What do you do?
Are you kidding me? I've puked, right? With having 3 kids in the last 5 years, I have literally had a trash can where I was puking during commercial breaks. At this point, I don't even think I would care. I would just go with it.
Is that bad? Okay. Thank you so much, Sam, for being with us here today. Of course, make sure that you check out the Super Bowl ad, #KickInEquality. And Secret's a great partner for you, especially to be working with.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I hope everybody checks out the ad. Carly Lloyd's in it. You're going to love it, I promise.
Welcome back into Call It a Night. You have seen this show. We get the biggest names because we're super, super famous. We make so much money, and that's why we have Rob Riggle sitting next to us right now, actor, comedian, U.S. Marine, and also Chiefs super fan. And this is like your Super Bowl. This is like your Christmas right now. And for you, when you were just a little baby, Rob Riggle, when was like the first moment you realized I am a Chiefs super fan?
The first game I ever went to, 1975. Little guy. Don't remember much about it other than the fact that we were there and we were way up in the nosebleeds. And I wasn't even paying attention to the game. I was just playing catch with my buddy, my next door neighbor. But yeah, lifelong Chiefs fan. This is the greatest week of my life. And I have 2 kids. So that probably says it all.
Yeah, so they're next line. So if the Chiefs were to win the Super Bowl, where would that rank on just life moments?
Life moments, probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids, I guess.
Kids, there's there's a couple
by default.
Yeah, there's a couple standards that are in there, but it's top 5 all-time, lifetime special moments.
What do you think about people that wear jerseys of other teams that aren't playing to a game?
I don't have a problem with that, and here's why. This is my 5th Super Bowl, and I've worn a Chiefs jersey to every Super Bowl, so I'm one of those guys.
So then what do you say to people that are like, hey, bro, Chiefs aren't here?
I say, yeah, I know. I got that. I figured that much. Believe it or not, I can read. But I would also say, this is my team, and I'm not going to put on a jersey from another team. It's not how it works.
Right.
So I wish your team good luck. I'll be here next year. I keep telling everybody I'll be here next year in this jersey.
Yeah,
and this is the first year it's actually paid off.
Right.
Where I'm here.
Well, that's what it's about. Like, you have to put it out in the universe, right?
Yes.
Or else you're just Drake wearing everyone's jersey, and then it doesn't work out for anyone.
It means nothing.
Yeah. Now, for your career, you're actor, comedian. You've done so much Marine, of course. When you look back on everything you've done, what's sort of the biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway? Ooh, this is a deep question.
It's hard-hitting questions here on Call It Night.
We're drilling down. Okay. The biggest takeaway in anything I've ever done, whether it's the Marines, whether it's acting, comedy, personal relationships, whatever, know yourself. Know yourself, because that's where it all starts. You have to know yourself and be honest with yourself. Know where your weaknesses are, know where your strengths are. Really answer those questions and then seek self-improvement, and life kind of takes care of yourself from there.
You are in a Super Bowl ad, which is awesome, and it's the first ever interactive Super Bowl ad. So what does that even mean?
It's kind of a new offering that people haven't seen yet at this level. So it's cool. If you go to whenwecometogether.com, right, and you can do it right now. If you go to their whenwecometogether.com, you can pick. It's choose your own adventure. So we filmed all these beginnings, all these middles, and all these endings. And as the commercial unrolled, you can sit there and go, oh, I want to see this. And then it takes you down that path.
Oh my gosh.
Or I want to see this, and it takes you down that path. And so I think there's like close to 60 combinations you can do of this thing.
That's super cool. The Super Bowl ads are always something that you want to see, but being able to be a part of one is the first time ever. So check that out. It's P&G brand ambassador, which you are. You said Bounty, and everyone is sort of like a superhero of P&G. And whenwecometogether.com. Check that out. Okay, thank you so much, Rob, for being here with us today. I'm so thrilled to be joined by 2 very special people. We've got defensive lineman for the Cowboys, Michael Bennett, and his lovely wife, Pella Bennett, they're both going to be working on, they are working on right now, a podcast together, Mouthpiece. And just looking at it, it looks as though it is going to be it's so much fun, right? It's politics, it's sports, it's sex, which is...
You said that can you say sex on this?
Oh, yeah. We can say... shit. We can say
shit.
Yeah. Now
shit.
we're good.
Oh my God! I just said shit on America's
we
TV.
We can do whatever we want.
I made it.
You guys have an awesome show that you just started. Tell me a little bit about it.
Me? She never lets me go first, so let me do this. Well, Mouthpiece is just a husband and a wife being able to share their thoughts. I think for us, being able to talk about things that are happening in our society from a parental experience, and then also as individuals, as a man and a woman, and then as a couple. So the things that we talk about, whether it's politics, culture, food, traveling, all these different things that we're able to share. But the thing that makes it really cool is that we disagree on things, but we also agree. But we never take the disagreements home. That's the best part of the show. Yeah.
How do you make sure?
And how do we do that?
Yeah. How do you do that?
I'm lying. Sometimes we take those thoughts home
When does this
and we
happen?
keep
News to
going.
me.
But I think for us, being able to have this show is like us venting. And like I was telling somebody earlier, I was just like take like something like concussions. Like you take a concussion, like as a player, you talk about a concussion, you're like, oh, people throw back in the game, like I'm out there, I'm tough, I'm this, I'm that. But then as a wife, you feel like
Right, it's a different perspective. It's
Definitely.
like scared, fear. You know, you're reaching out to someone else's wife if their husband's out there. I think there's a lot of different things that go on
Right.
from a fan's perspective.
And so we like to talk about those things of our experience, and even things like like getting traded and having to pick up your whole family and move, and just talking about things that are happening. Us with all the things that are happening with women in the world, and then we have our 3 daughters, and being able to share what the perspective as a father is. For me, I didn't know what a menstrual period, the menstrual thing, and like I was a man.
He's that guy that's like, oh my God, you're talking about blood. And I'm like, you have 3 girls.
Period
There's going to be a lot of
all
blood
that kind of stuff. So I'm
around.
not ready. It's like those type of things are like. So these are things that like as a man that you don't really understand, and you don't have to
But vice
understand them,
versa,
but you
because
get to listen. You know what I'm saying?
I'm learning stuff about him also that I wouldn't also know like in the game or from a male's perspective. So
What's
it's
an
still
example
going both
that
ways.
you've learned?
Ooh, I think it's just how he feels about the sport altogether. Because how I see it, it's different from how he feels about it, and he's so passionate about it, but in a different way.
You're on a team that had an interesting head coaching thing. It's almost like a relationship, when Jerry Jones had Mike McCarthy for a sleepover, and then Jason Garrett sort of like, wait, I'm still around. You haven't broken up with me yet. What did you think?
I think it was just one of those things where I feel like Jerry Jones had invested so much into Jason for so long. Here's a guy that's been through all the ranks in his position, a guy that's been in the ranks in the Cowboys, from playing there to being raising from offensive coordinator to being the head coach. And I think they have a relationship. And I think sometimes we have relationships, there's this chemistry that they had that they didn't really want to break. It wasn't that Jason wasn't a person that he loved, it was that he wasn't doing a good job at the business that he was trying to grow. And Jerry loves everything about the Cowboys. And I think because of that, he really didn't want to fire him, but he had to because the fans were asking for newness. I think fans, they get tired of things really old. It's like they got quick fashion. They go to Zara and buy a shirt, and then they want a new shirt. And I feel like they feel like that with coaches. As soon as a coach doesn't reach the potential, like if they don't go 3 rounds into the playoffs and they don't win a Super Bowl the first year, you get fired, like playing for the Browns. If you're the coach at the Browns, they've had so much transition so quickly. And the Cowboys have not been like that. Here's a coach that's been there for 10 years, and there's not a lot of coaches that have been on one team for 10 years. So I can get it why Jerry didn't want to just get rid of him really fast. And I look up to Jason for like, no, look, I love you. I don't want to leave you. I want my family. Like, it was like one of those type of situations. So I get it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We got Michael, we got Pele Bennett. Stay tuned. We've got a whole lot more fun to come on Call It a Night. Are on Radio Row. There's tons of different people from the sports world, entertainment world, and media world, and we are so excited to have someone from the baseball world, General Manager of the Washington Nationals, Mike Rizzo, who's coming off of a World Series title. How have the last 5 months been? Congratulations.
Well, they've been epic. It's been an exciting run, and starting from when we started in the beginning of the season to winning the World Series was such an extreme comeback by a great bunch of guys. We couldn't have been more excited, and we're taking that momentum into 2020.
Right, like not even in that World Series final, but also at the beginning of the year when you guys really kind of flipped the script. If you were to tell your team last year at the beginning of the year you'd be winning the World Series, what would you have thought?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I would have thought that's a reasonable statement. But, on May 23rd, it wasn't so reasonable. We were 12 games under 500. I think the Vegas odds had us at a 0.01% chance of winning the World Series.
That's not great, but...
So at that time, it wasn't. But, this was a good bunch of a mix of a veteran group of guys with some really young, play with your hair on fire type of players. And, they believed the whole way. Davey Martinez, our manager, he never wavered one bit. He believed it the whole time, and it was something that, because of the trials and tribulations we had early, it made it that much more special.
I'm sure you've been asked about this many different times, having beaten the Astros in the World Series and everything that they've gone through and that's been uncovered about the sign stealing. Having, faced them like that, I mean, what's your takeaway on the news that's come out?
Well, the news, we don't have all the facts yet. There's still an investigation going on with MLB. So, I'm focusing on the 2019 World Championship Washington Nationals. The way we did it, the way we came back, and the character and integrity that we had in that team. That's what I focus on. And we kind of disregard what the other organizations and franchises do. We do it the way we do it, and we think we do it as well as anybody in the league.
That sounds like an answer from a general manager. But it is fascinating because, for so many of us, we just hear, wow, I had no idea these things are going on. You're hearing, Paul Duca talk about different lights and different things like that. Do you think that we're going to see more of this sort of be uncovered?
Well, I think that the commissioner did a great job of putting in penalties for this thing, and I think that if you're going to engage in that type of thing, you better be ready for the consequences because they're coming down with a hammer.
Yeah, definitely, as they should, of course. Now, I know you are here with Budweiser, and we're going to get to more on them in a second, but you did also say that you've been drunk since you won, correct?
Right, exactly.
That is correct. Okay.
Yes, I said I've been drinking since for a month. That's
well, good, because I'm drunk right now, so that's great. No, but that's what was your ideal sort of how did you party best? What did you lean into during the good days?
It was just a whirlwind of just different events and parties and that type of thing. So obviously, with the champagne baths after the games, those are the most remarkable and those things go in deep into the night and often roll over into the next day. And
okay. You guys are in a Budweiser commercial for a Super Bowl ad, which is super cool. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's a beautiful ad. It's about the American people, drinking American beer, Budweiser, and it shows us winning the World Series and with such stick-to-itiveness and coming from where we came. I think it shows the grit and determination of what Americans can do, when their back's against the wall.
Thank you so much, Mike, for joining
me.
us. Make sure you watch the Super Bowl ad, Washington Nationals, of course, all over Budweiser, World Series champions. We're gonna have a whole lot more coming up on Call It a Night. Don't go anywhere. We're in Miami here, right near the beach, with the host of FS1's Lock It In, also my good friend, and Canadian Rachel Boneta.
Yes.
And we can't start without discussing the fact that we are literally at a compound of amazingness.
Literally.
Fox is just doing so much. It's got to be pretty cool.
It's amazing. The last time I went to a Super Bowl was when I was a digital host for Fox. So to be able to experience this, to go and walk on my set, which is right over there, and I can say my set, which is kind of cool. It just feels big and real, and it's super exciting to all be here at the same time. There's so many shows on FS1 and so much talent, and the fact that I'm having breakfast with everyone in the morning, and then we're all going off and doing our own shows. It feels like a nice family bonding trip.
Yeah. You played Mind Meld before?
I love Mind Meld.
Okay, I want to play Mind Meld. 3, 2, 1.
Miami.
Beach. We're pretty close.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Water.
Sand.
3, 2, 1. Burn. 3, 2, 1. Hook.
You're going really fast.
I know.
Okay, what did you say?
I didn't say anything. I got really distracted. Thanks so much for being on my show.
Yay, Canadians unite.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our extensive coverage from Super Bowl week. For more exclusive content from what we did here at Super Bowl week, as well as beyond, make sure that you check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Fubo Sports. And right now, I'm going to go sleep for a year, and I hope I never see any of my work colleagues again. I'm JSB, and however you may be calling it a night, make sure it's a good one.